Okay, this is Frontier Opening Bell starting this Thursday, the final trading day of the week for Nigeria here. Tomorrow is Independence Day, 61st anniversary. Welcome to the show. Bosun Amofai here on behalf of Frontier Africa Report. Markets, the five main markets in Africa we checked on a daily basis, showed that in Nigeria, a very big jump, nearly 2% on Wednesday, just as we creep into the final trading day of the month. The BRVM was better by 0.25%. The EGX down by 0.5%. The Nairobi Bourse was down by 0.1%, and the GSE up by 91 basis points, despite the slide in the dollar rand position because of the comeback of the US dollar. Let's touch East Africa very quickly with the Central Bank of Kenya holding rates steady at 7% at the monetary policy meeting, but the outlook is that the economy will rebound in 2021. In the largest media group in East Africa, the Nation Media, newspaper, radio, television, and others says it's completed the share buyback program, 82.5% performance rate for the buyback exercise. And life assurance premiums by Kenyans in the in the first 6 months of this year was up 21.2% to about 16.7 billion local currency. And here is Ethiopia going for the second round of its telecommunications sector licensing round. Safaricom, Vodacom, and a consortium of others got the first round, bringing about $800 million on the table. Now, Ethiopia is set for the second round and is looking at raising further money through this transaction. And Israeli firm iHoldings is investing 5.75 billion Tanzanian shillings in the country's agri sector. Quite hefty. Let's touch with Nigeria, where this morning we're starting off the Technovation conference, which brings technology platforms and markets together under the new Nigerian Exchange Group. That will bring the regulator, the exchange platform, and industry big names together for the 2.5-hour program. Bola Adesola has been named the new chairman of EcoBank Nigeria, while the Bank of Ghana says the city is likely to end 2021 with the lowest decline since 1992, while the DR Congo is buying $2.5 million of fresh equity in Shelter Africa, which is based in Nairobi. And that takes us straight to Eric Mokaya, who is looking at the East African market for us this morning. Thank you, Eric. What's your take on the Central Bank of Kenya holding policy rate unchanged at its monetary policy meeting yesterday?
I think it's just to basically wait and see in terms of the economy. I should say I'm just back from Kenya. I was visiting there for the last 3 weeks. My observation is that there's a lot of construction going on. I think it's the most booming part of the economy. There's a couple of struggles, in terms of finances because of the pandemic and all. Lots of masks people are wearing, and the pandemic is still not behind us, so I think we're smack in the middle. Banks are doing well in the first half of this year. Provisions are down, which is going to indicate that the economy could be doing better than expected. But I think that's normal for the central bank to hold interest rates and to wait and see in terms of how things will go on from here. I think that's basically just it in terms of the central bank. I think they expect inflation to be biting. I think inflation ticked up in, I think it's about 6%, somewhere slightly above 6% for August. I think the observation is also that the economy is going to need a lot of help in terms of going back to where it was before the 2019 pandemic.
Very interesting. What's on the market streets there in Nairobi, Eric?
Generally, I met a couple of CEOs. I should say one who was very open in terms of meeting up with the Centum CEO. So we met him and paid him a courtesy call a little bit. It's very interesting in terms of the direction he wants the company to take. So I think he wants to do, there's a lot of room for, and maybe some of the things that is something that is on the top news that you noted, there's the share buybacks. I think they're keen to do that to boost the share price, especially for Centum. Nation Media, 82% uptake rate. That boosts the confidence of those who wants to go to the market. And the share price, I think, is holding up somewhere around 25, which was the upper limit of the share buyback price. So I would say that Word on the street is mostly share buybacks. Jubilee Insurance is considering it. Centum is also considering it. The success at Nation Media is also boosting the confidence of the shareholders. But generally, I think also there's also skepticism about the markets heading into next year's general elections. I think the country is a bit in. Lots of the discussion on the front page is about how next year is going to look like. The big players, of course, are being Ruto and Raila in terms of the presidency. So there's a lot of talk about who's going to replace them. Replace the current president who's retiring next year. And I think also the talk is also about how are they going to deal with the economy going forward, because we know that Kenya's capacity in terms of debt is that they've maxed out the debt in the past 10 years. So I think there's no fiscal space for more debt. So whoever comes in has to deal with the situation almost similar to what is in Zambia, in terms of where you have a clear reckoning in terms of there's no money to actually spend, so you need to cut a lot. There's a lot happening, I said, in terms of construction. The Nairobi Expressway is being constructed. So there is also a lot of money flowing in that area. So when it's once completed, then it will ease the flow of traffic. Currently, the flow of traffic around Nairobi is hectic in terms of the construction. There's a crazy amount of construction going on.
I'm looking forward to going back to getting back to Nairobi sometime pretty soon. I think you see a few of this in the news, by the way. But I think politics in the air is going to be I think the countdown has already started. The politicking has started, and the media is picking that up with the exit of Raila. With Uhuru Kenyatta, who's been in office for 2 terms. Thank you for bringing us back on speed from that report from Nairobi, Eric Mokaya. Thank you so much. Let's touch on with Southern African markets, where yesterday we saw some of the key indices in the green, but the South African Union of Workers says they want 1,500 rand as a pay rise for workers in Simbanye's Stillwater gold mines. And the July riots is still out there. The cost is going to be about 1 billion rand in financial relief for businesses that were affected, in particular the banks whose ATMs were looted, as well as the supermarkets such as Massmart and ShopRite that faced very devastation from those riots and looting that took place just about 3 months ago. Tharisa is into chrome and platinum business in South Africa and is looking at 30% emission cut by the year 2030 and going carbon neutral completely by the year 2050. And Zimbabwe's central bank has frozen the bank accounts of 40 individuals and companies over illegal FX transactions. And that is as coming hard as Nigeria is also doing when it comes to those accused of illegal FX transactions as the currency gets scarce and exchange rate hits the rooftops. Let's finish off on the North Africa very quickly with the Egyptian story. The Global Cup is floating up about 3.5 billion Egyptian pounds for its securitization program. Morocco's BCP Group reporting first half of the year net banking income 1.5%, 10.2 billion dirhams. And Libya is asking U.S. companies to come back to the country to boost oil output. Last week, the Libya's National Oil Corporation opened a new office in London for the first time, trying to win international investors back into the country. And that's about it for this morning on Frontier Opening Bell. I am Bosun Amafai. Thank you so much, Eric Mokaya from Mwango Capital. Welcome back from Nairobi, and we'll be touching base with you in the days ahead. I am Bosun Amafai signing off. I'll see you again tomorrow. It's a public holiday in Nigeria, so we're going to hold it steady on the independence. Then we'll get back here on the show. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.